what's going on, guys? It is Skolside, back again with another Minnesota Vikings video. Something different on the channel today. We're going to do a first ever podcast, joined with Jim and Mike. And we're just going to be going through the draft, talk about the O-line, talk about the defense. And, yeah, you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Go ahead, Mike.
My name is Mike. Yeah, happy to be part of Skolside here. Deliver some good Vikings content, and ready to rock.
Yeah, my name's Jim. I have an unhealthy obsession with the Minnesota Vikings, so I love to be part of Skolside. I'm ready to break down this year and Skol.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just get right into it. What do you guys think? We'll start with the first pick that Spielman made, and he went with Justin Jefferson at 22. Personally, I love the pick. I mean, he was the best option, really best player available, and it was a position that we needed to fill after the Diggs trade.
Yeah, I thought it was a good pick. I mean, the board felt right for the Vikings there. I thought the Eagles were going to take him for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Having him fall to 22 there was awesome. I'm just reading a lot of stuff about him. You know, a lot of people thought he could have went a lot higher than that. But I like him. You know, he did a lot of stuff in the slot last year with LSU, so I think he'll help in that regard. But I also think he has a chance to play outside too and kind of fill that Diggs role.
Yeah.
So yeah, excited to have him aboard, and it definitely was a need the Vikings needed to definitely take advantage of there. So I thought it was a good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, the board felt perfectly for them, and that they didn't have to trade up to get him. I think if I read the reports right, I think they wanted to trade up to get him if they could, but I know Kubiak was really big on him, so he's a good fit, and I know him and Thielen play a lot of the slot, and Jefferson even said before last year he played outside most of his whole career on the outside. So, and I also think with him and Kubiak's a pretty smart offensive coach, so I think he'll be able to work that out, and it's not like Thielen can't play on the outside as well. So I think they're pretty versatile, and I think it's going to be a really good pick. So that was exactly what the Vikings needed.
Yeah, I thought that Jefferson plays like he played 99% of his snaps from the slot, and that's what Thielen kind of excels at. I mean, I would get that if they were both like 5'9" receivers like Edelman and Amendola, but they're both 6'1". They have good size, and I mean, at the end of the day, they're athletes. I mean, it's not like they have to play there or else they're terrible everywhere else. I mean, we've seen Thielen, he can go up and moss people like he's playing outside. I mean, it's not like he's just running drag routes all the time. And if you look at Jefferson's highlights, I mean, he goes up and gets the ball a lot. I mean, it's not it's not like he's some like scrub that can only like play in a certain position. So I liked it.
Yeah. It's not like he's slow either. I mean, he might not have blazing speed, but he has pretty good speed. I remember watching the game. I know it was against Oklahoma, and their defense is not very good. But that playoff game, I mean, well, every receiver from LSU smoked him, but he was one of them. I mean, it was impressive. So I think he'll fit in perfectly.
Yeah. I also thought, last year at LSU, I thought a lot of the hype came around Joe Burrow, and I think a lot of Joe Burrow's success is because of, first off, the scheme that Joe Brady put in, but also because of Justin Jefferson and the weapons they had. And then you look at Bama, everybody's giving, Ruggs, Judy all this credit and saying they carried Tua, but I don't know. I think it could be the other way around where we see Jefferson have a ton of success, even more than the Bama receivers.
Yeah,
I agree. I think Burrow's a really good prospect. Yeah. I think his receivers definitely helped him out, though. I mean, that was such a really good team. But no, I agree. I think Jefferson and the other receiver that they have, that's going to be a really big. It's going to be a top 5 pick probably next year's draft. They definitely helped them out.
I also think he's a really good route runner too. Kind of seen on the highlight, the film. Just really good route runner. Really does a nice job creating space for himself, which is going to be key at the next level. So I think he's going to help out in that regard. And Thielen also a really good route runner. So I think they're going to really be a good combo here in the future.
Oh yeah, no doubt. All right, well, let's get to the next pick in the first round. At pick 31, we traded down with the 49ers to get this. Jeff Gladney out of TCU. This was just Zimmer's pick, obviously. Zimmer had full control over this pick. This is Zimmer's dude. He's a physical guy. He plays with an edge. He's very raw, is what I'm hearing from people. But, I mean, honestly, I like the pick, too. It was back-to-back good picks, 2 position groups that we needed to fill. So, I mean, I like both of them.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I was definitely another need the Vikings needed to address there in the first round. I mean, I do like them trading back also, just knowing that the other teams weren't going to take corners. So basically they had their pick of whatever corner they wanted. And Gladney's definitely, what I've been reading is he's like a Mike Zinner type of cornerback, very aggressive, plays at an edge, like you said, very intense, great ball skills. So I think, he'll definitely be a good pick. It might be some growing pains at the beginning, but I think he's got some upside there.
I think when Mike Zimmer, when they, I know he's happy to take Justin Jefferson, but you could see him start to sweat when they didn't take a defensive player at 22. And, I know he gets really, really concerned with that. But no, Spielman played the board well there. I mean, he got two extra picks, and then he picked up Gladney. And, obviously the only thing that I could think of he might struggle with is his size. But, I mean, he had 26 pass breakups last year. Really good. And he's very physical, and he's fast too. So they obviously needed a cornerbacks. We all saw last year at times that they had struggled in coverage. So, but Gladney's going to be a good pick. He's going to be a day one starter. So I hope so.
He has to be.
To be at this point. They need corners.
I mean, and the thing that, like, in past years, especially last year, the Vikings would, their corners, because they weren't that talented, they would play 10 yards off. And then, I mean, Devontae Adams does this every year against us. He just runs a little slant, and it's like pretty much like a running game for them where they can hit it every single time. And this guy likes to get up in your face. So I'm hoping that would change Zimmer's philosophy a little bit, like kind of bring some dog to this team, which I'm guarantee you Gladney will.
I mean, you guys even remember the Redskins game last year? That first half.
Yeah.
I mean, the Redskins just moved the ball down the field on little out routes and slant routes because Rhodes is playing because Rhodes couldn't keep up with them.
Yep.
And that's what teams have been able to do to them, and that's why I know Mike gets upset with this when he watches games, but they do have a tendency to give up long drives at times because teams are easily able to do that.
It's 5 yard out, 5 yard slant over and over again. But
Rodgers just does do them all the time with Adams. Just boom, quick pass, and it's a 10-yard gain. Yeah. They're just too far off. So I definitely think Gladney will be able to press a little bit more and use kind of his aggressiveness to his advantage.
Yeah, and I think I saw something after this draft, like the Vikings cornerback room, like the average age is like 24. So I mean, there really is no excuse to get up in a dude's face and like actually start playing some real man-to-man coverage. Yeah. Unlike this soft zone that we see Zim go to a lot, which is very disappointing.
Soft Zimmer.
And hopefully this will let guys like Daniil like get going even more. Like I mean giving Daniil like an extra second to give to the quarterback could be huge.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, well, moving on to this, round 2 when we picked Ezra Cleveland, or as I heard 2 different pronunciations of his name, but the tackle out of Boise State. First thing that came to my mind when we drafted this guy was just Alexander Madison on Twitter, them being like best friends in college. I thought this was a great pickup. I mean, the fact that like Madison is just head over. I mean, he just loves this guy. Bringing him in, he seems like a good guy. He's got huge size. He can move. Seems like a little raw. I don't know if it would translate to the next level. I'm hoping it needs to, because the Vikings O-line, it was not that good, especially on the left side last year, so it kind of needs to translate. But anyways, I like the pick. It was kind of a risk taking him, but hearing Madison on Twitter and his Instagram videos and all that, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I think it was a solid pick. A lot of people had him going in the first round.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of was a steal a little bit, but he's undersized for sure at the tackle position right now. He kind of reminds you of Brian O'Neill in that regard. The Vikings drafted him. He was undersized. A lot of people thought it was a reach, but he turns out to be a pretty good tackle. So I'm kind of hoping that kind of happens for Cleveland here, and I think he's going to help out the guard position to start as well. But kind of bring some size inside. Noticing the Vikings, especially against the Niners last year, just getting absolutely bull rushed, pushed back.
Elflein looked like a 5th grader out there against Buckner and all of them. He just looked so small at times. And bringing in Cleveland, who's 6'6", put him at guard. Finally we'll have some size at the guard position.
Yeah,
if he does play guard.
too. Yeah, Exactly. So I think it's going to be a solid fit. Probably be some, obviously without no off-season program, it's going to be a little tougher for him to adjust right away. But, I think he'll be solid. Might take him some time, but I think he'll be a good pick.
I mean, this pick was another example. The board fell to the Vikings perfectly again. I mean, they had their pick of Ezra Cleveland and Josh Jones, and that was after that first wave of tackles that went in the first round. When they had no opportunity to draft one of the top 4 tackles. So this is a good pick. I mean, look, the Vikings, they really haven't had a great offensive line under Zimmer. The offensive line 2017 was okay. They had a quarterback that was pretty mobile, that could move. He fits their scheme well. He's super athletic. He's very similar to Brian O'Neill. And the best thing, the even better thing about him, I think he has a lot more experience than Brian O'Neill did in college. O'Neill was a converted tight end.
He played 4 years there, too.
Yeah. So, obviously, it's going to be tough for him to start right away. I hope he does, at least at guard. And listening to Kubiak, it sounds like it's a real possibility. So, they kind of need him to play. I mean, they need an immediate impact to their offensive line. Hopefully he does. I like the pick, though. Yeah.
All right. Moving on in round 3, they took Cameron Dantzler out of Mississippi State, the corner. This dude, he has size. I think he's 6'1", 6'2". He ran an okay 40. It was kind of slow, but then again, he is 6'1", 6'2". But, this guy just plays with an edge. He's very raw. The only negatives that are coming up is sloppy technique. But, however, with Zimmer and Spielman, the way they've developed corners, I actually really like. This was one of my favorite picks because he's a dude who just has raw talent, and it hasn't really been molded yet. So I'm hoping, Rhodes was 6'1". Hopefully he can get somewhere near Rhodes level. I doubt it, but risky pick, but I like it since we're going to need to get a stud in the secondary.
Yeah, totally with you on that one. I think this is an absolute steal in round 3. Got great value out of this pick. I think just reading the reports on him, he was, a lot of people had him going higher, second round. But that 40-yard time, like you just mentioned, it kind of hurt him a bit. But I don't put too much into that. It's one 40-yard dash. He's probably quicker than that for sure. But I think he's lanky, like you said, so he's gonna be able to play against those bigger receivers. I think he's gonna be able to help the secondary a lot here. I think he's a day 1 starter, to be honest with you. So I really like the pick, and I think he's gonna help a lot here with the secondary.
I feel like more people, and no disrespect to Gladney, but I feel like more people are getting excited over Cameron Dantzler than Jeff Gladney just because of his size.
Yeah.
And when you say, I know sloppy technique, that's like music to Mike Zimmer's ears. Anytime you say the word technique, like every press conference you hear Mike Zimmer, and like even when he talked about Xavier Rhodes last year, it's just he has to work on his technique. I don't know about a 7-year pro in the NFL needs to keep working on technique, but look, Zimmer's really good with cornerbacks, so I think it was another really good pick, and it worked out again. It's good that he probably had a slow 40 because that was probably the reason why he dropped. So, I think the Vikings again. He's probably another guy that's gonna, he's gonna play a ton. So, it was a good pick, and I think his size is a really good thing for them. He's 6'2". And he played in the SEC, so he's gone against a lot of the best top talent.
Yeah, I was going to mention he's gone against the LSU receivers, and a lot of really good receivers, in that conference. So I think, he's got some great experience too.
Yeah, and also on special teams, they rave about him on special teams just because of his size, and he can fly, and he just plays with a tenacity. So, anything there will help. All right, moving on. This is actually my favorite pick of the draft is Andre Patterson's pick, the D-end out of South Carolina, DJ Wonnum. Pretty much a Daniil Hunter type of thing going on here. Obviously not as strong as Daniil. I think his bench press was really poor, but that's because his arms are incredibly long. This is just a guy who's gonna have to just sit back and just listen to Andre Patterson because honestly, he's probably our best coach. Is Andre Patterson, just the way he's developed these guys. Yeah, it's a risk, but I like it because honestly, our D line is always good. I can't really remember the last time we were like, we need to go get a D lineman, especially bringing in Michael Pierce. But I don't like the pick.
Yeah, I do like the pick. Some people were kind of complaining about it was like a project, but he's kind of like you said, reminds you of Neil Hunter. I think Neil Hunter was a 3rd round pick. So, and just looking at his stats, he didn't have a ton of production at South Carolina, but I definitely think it's a ceiling pick. I think there's some upside there. He's very athletic. So, like you said, Patterson will coach him up, and like you said, we have some depth in the D line now, and there's some other guys that have really blossomed, like Odenabo and like Stephen Weatherly too. So, I think those are solid picks.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the round where they really attacked. This is where Zimmer took over the draft in round 4. Where they went 3 straight defensive players, and they improved their front 7. Obviously, I like the pick. I was, going into day 3, I was hoping they'd, hit the interior of the offensive line. But, it's hard to argue. I mean, they do have a great defensive line coach, and these are the guys that he's been, he's really been able to develop. And, he's developed a Denabo who was really good last year.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, Hunter, he's this physical specimen of Daniil Hunter. So, he's really athletic. He's pretty raw, so it might take some time. But when Hunter came into the league in 2015, they used him in 2015. He was definitely a productive player. So hopefully they can get that out of him this year, because it sounds like they're going to be doing some different things with their defensive schemes. I'm guessing that's what Dom Capers is here for.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not here to increase the age of our coaching staff. So I hope that Wonnum plays a good he plays a good role this year. I think he'll be a good pick.
Now pretty much the next pick we made, 4th rounder, is pretty much the polar opposite of Wonnum is James Lynch, another defensive lineman. Just put up the numbers. No real raw eye-popping talent, but he is incredible. I don't know how he fell to the 4th round. Brian Robinson talking about this guy, saying he's going to be a star. Pretty promising. He's only a junior too, but he put up incredible numbers on a pretty damn good Baylor defense last year for the first time in a while. Anyways, another good pick for Andre Patterson. Just going defense.
Yeah, just another Zimmer type of pick. Just trying to load up on D. He just, like you say, it's a solid pick. He's not going to be like a stud, but I think he'll be a solid player. I think he'll be a situational type of guy to start. Just kind of plug him in. But I think he's got some potential to maybe help inside too with that interior pass rush. He put up some big time numbers at Baylor, which I think the Vikings really need help in, was interior, kind of building up that interior to with pass rush, and then also with stopping the run. So I think it just builds the depth up there. So
yeah. Sorry to cut you off, but last year with Linval, Rhodes got a lot of the slack last year as being just awful. But we can honestly look back on Linval. I love Linval, but looking back at him last year, he was not that good.
No, he wasn't good.
He's huge, and he was getting pushed 5 yards back every time.
Yeah, that was a big problem.
And now we're bringing in Michael Pierce and this guy. The interior should have taken a huge jump forward. And I know it's a dirty position. It doesn't really have the highlight plays, but it's very important, especially with guys like Daniil on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. Just look at that 49ers game. The Niners ran maybe 8 or 9 times in a row, just destroying the middle.
Seattle too.
First downs. It was brutal.
Yeah, the Seattle game, they ran for 270 on us, just getting pushed around.
Happened way too often. So they definitely needed to get younger, and definitely hopefully that pick will help, and Pierce should help the D line there, interior D line.
Oh yeah.
I like the pick.
Oh no, yeah, go.
No, that's all I'll say. I like the pick.
Yeah, it's decent.
Zimmer type of thing to say.
Yeah, just a Zimmer pick. Zimmer did take over the draft ever since the whole Justin Jefferson pick. Zimmer just kind of got a little defensive hat, which I'm fine with. Honestly, Zimmer and Spielman have one more year, kind of short year. All right, but anyways, the last pick we're gonna go over right now was a linebacker out of Oregon, Troy Dye. Pretty much what I'm hearing about this guy, he's a very similar actually to Kendricks in the speed. He's fast. He moves side to side. Obviously not as talented as Kendricks or highly recruited, but another Pac-12 linebacker for the Vikings. I like this pick. He's probably not going to play a lot in his rookie year because Eric Wilson, Kendricks, and Barr. Hopefully, Barr will step up. Made a video on him yesterday, and it's just I'm just not a fan of Barr that much right now. But I mean, hopefully he'll be able to be like almost a development plan. He can play down the road, just give us good reps. I mean, just a solid pick.
Yeah, it was a good pick. I think a lot of people were kind of surprised he fell that far. I guess he was a projected first-round pick maybe last year. So I think he was playing with some injuries at Oregon, so it kind of made him kind of fall. But, I think it's a pick for 2021 for sure, like a future pick. I think he might be able to, slide in situational defense, but, just overall, just kind of improve the depth of the linebacker position, which is probably needed.
He's good in coverage. That's my big takeaway. He's pretty good in coverage, so I think that's good.
Yeah,
it's brings something else other than Ben Gideon can do.
Yeah.
Ben Gideon's usually used against the run.
Even Barr has been bad in coverage as of late. I mean,
Barr is overpaid, by the way.
Yeah. Well, that's why they got Dom Capers here, right?
Yeah,
for Anthony Barr. That was their big thing.
I mean, Barr coming out of college, he should have been on the same level as Daniil, Kendricks, and Harrison Smith. I mean, he showed that in his rookie year. Now he's just like a guy, but he gets paid like he should be a superstar, which is frustrating.
Yeah, you're right. He's just kind of okay.
Yeah.
But I think they shoot him off the edge more.
Yeah,
I wonder who made the decision paying him all that money. I guarantee you it wasn't the general manager.
Yeah.
It was the defensive coordinators, our head coach.
Zimmer definitely called it.
Zimmer definitely was calling the shots.
Zimmer flew to New York, picked him up from the Jets, and said, "No, you're coming back. We'll give you whatever you want."
I really wish he went to the Jets, to be honest.
Honestly, I mean, last year when he went to the Jets, I was pissed. And now looking back on it, I'm like, you know what, to have some $10-12 million in cap space right now would not be too bad.
Yep, I agree with you.
Yeah. All right, well, this is going to wrap up the first episode. We were going to go over the O-line and then the defense, but we're going to do that next week since we're going to have a lot to talk about. We're going to try to do these every Sunday. The full schedule comes out next week. We'll see all the primetime games, who we play early and late in the season. I already guarantee you we'll play Seattle Week 15 on a Monday night. I will promise you that. That will not change in Seattle, and we will lose that game. So we'll we will already have one loss on our schedule coming out. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this. A little different on the channel. Anyways, we'll see you guys next Sunday.